Assembly of Dark Sorcerers. A congregation of hooded figures occupies a cavernous chamber, their ranks assembled in a semicircle beneath a chilling, golden illumination. The figures are uniform in their arrangement, each swathed in heavy black cloaks that merge with the shadows, effectively dissolving the boundaries between individual and collective. The chamber itself is undefined, its walls obscured, or perhaps non-existent, so that the focus remains on the group. Suspended in a space where darkness and light battle for dominance. The golden light, neither entirely warm nor reassuring, instead injects the scene with an unnatural vibrancy, as if the assembly is energized by some malevolent force. The positioning of the figures, all facing inward toward the heart of the circle, channels an ominous, ritualistic energy, suggesting the performance of a forbidden rite or the deliberation of a sinister pact. Goya's composition compels the viewer to witness this dark ceremony, evoking questions about the nature of the gathering and the psychological tides that draw such a group together. The hooded figures' faces, a closer examination of the sorcerers' faces, reveals the depths of Goya's psychological insight. Each visage is rendered with ghastly detail, flesh pulled taut over bone, hollow sockets where eyes ought to gleam, and mouths twisted into grim, knowing sneers. These are not individualized portraits, but variations on a single theme of decay and corruption. The skeletal features evoke not only death, but the loss of humanity, a visual metaphor for the erasure of reason and compassion under the weight of communal dread. Shadows gather in the hollows of their cheeks and eye sockets, deepening the sense of menace. The lack of differentiation among the faces signals the obliteration of self within the collective, emphasizing how paranoia can strip away individuality, replacing it with a shared, malignant identity. The brushwork is ruthless and economical, heightening the sense of unease as if Goya painted these faces in haste, compelled by the urgency of their warning. The cloaks and postures. The figures' cloaks envelop them completely, reducing their bodies to anonymous volumes of darkness. The heavy fabric, rendered in broad, sweeping strokes, absorbs both light and identity, so that each sorcerer becomes a mere extension of the group's collective will. Their postures are uniformly hunched, with spines curved, as if bowing before an unseen authority, or preparing for an act of dark significance. Hands, gnarled and skeletal, rest upon the ground, anchoring the figures in a ritualistic stance. The repetition of these forms across the assembly creates a hypnotic, almost musical rhythm, one that both mesmerizes and unsettles. This visual unity is not benign. It signals the suppression of dissent, the compulsion to conform that paranoia often enforces. Goya's careful structuring of cloaks and limbs offers a chilling illustration of how fear can sculpt individuals into instruments of a singular, ominous purpose. The golden light portal, rising above and behind the assembly, a column of golden light splits the darkness with spectral authority. Its verticality contrasts with the horizontal spread of the sorcerers, drawing the eye upward and suggesting a connection to powers beyond the earthly. The light is fragmented, streaked with hints of ochre and amber, and appears almost as a portal, a threshold between the known and the unknown, the rational and the supernatural. Rather than offering comfort, this radiance is ambiguous, possibly signaling the seductive danger of forbidden knowledge or the inescapable gaze of a higher judgmental force. The portal's abstract architectural quality hints at the architecture of the mind itself, where boundaries between fear and fact dissolve. Goya situates this anomaly at the center of the gathering's focus, underscoring the magnetic pull of the irrational and the role it plays in uniting the assembly's members under a common, perilous obsession. Foreground shadows and texture. The floor beneath the assembly is rendered in dense, tactile strokes of brown and black, its surface uneven and almost organic, as if absorbing the psychic weight of the scene above. This ground anchors the figures, providing a physical reality to their otherwise spectral presence. Shadows from the sorcerer's hands and cloaks stretch forward, reaching out across the floor in elongated, sinuous forms. These shadows not only ground the figures, but also serve as visual extensions of their menace, as if their influence is seeping outward, striving to envelop the viewer. The interplay of rough and smooth brushwork in the foreground adds a sensory immediacy, suggesting the tangible texture of stone, earth, or even decaying flesh. This somber base intensifies the painting's sense of gravity, reinforcing the oppressive atmosphere and reminding us that paranoia and fear, though psychological in origin, have a very real, material impact on the world. Symmetry and composition. The composition's symmetry is deliberate and striking, with the assembly forming a broad arc across the lower half of the canvas. This arrangement naturally leads the eye toward the central axis, where the golden light radiates, acting as both focal point and conceptual anchor. The near-perfect balance in the placement of figures conveys an unsettling discipline, the kind found in ritual or military formation, systems that channel collective energy for purposes that may be either noble or nefarious. The symmetry also creates a sense of inevitability, as if the gathering is entrapped by its own order, unable to break free from the cycle of suspicion and accusation. Goya's use of compositional harmony to frame such a disharmonious subject is a powerful irony, suggesting that even the most chilling forms of collective madness can emerge under the guise of unity and order. The expression of collective paranoia. The mood among the assembled sorcerers is unmistakably charged with malice and suspicion. Their faces, already grotesque in close-up, now read as a chorus of malevolence. The subtle variations in their narrowed eyes and curled mouths hint at a shared secret understanding, a dark intent that binds them together. The way their bodies lean in unison, hands pressed to the ground, communicates anticipation, poised at the threshold of action, as if awaiting a signal to unleash their collective will. This visual narrative embodies the atmosphere of paranoia, where suspicion is not only felt, but broadcast and magnified through shared gestures. The scene captures the contagion of fear, how it spreads, amplifies, and fuses individuals into a single dangerous organism. Goya's painting is an incisive study of the mechanisms by which hysteria and conspiracy can convert communities into instruments of their own undoing. The ominous atmosphere. The palette of the painting is suffused with deep, somber tones, sepia, umber, jet black, punctuated only by the molten gold of the light. This chromatic tension saturates the scene with a sense of dread, the warmth of the gold unable to dispel the encroaching darkness. The limited range of colors, combined with the weighty application of paint, creates a claustrophobic environment where the air itself seems thick with suspicion and menace. The interplay between warm and cool tones mirrors the struggle between reason and irrationality, hope and despair within the collective psyche of the assembly. The color scheme not only sets the emotional tone, but underscores the painting's central message that when fear is allowed to dominate, it transforms even the most familiar gatherings into arenas of supernatural terror and psychological violence. Curatorial reflection. Goya's Assembly of Dark Sorcerers stands as a masterful meditation on the nature of collective paranoia. Through his powerful manipulation of light, shadow, and composition, he exposes the mechanisms by which suspicion and fear can deform the human spirit and bind individuals into destructive unity. The painting's grotesque visages, repetitive forms, and ominous palette evoke not only the supernatural, but the all-too-human capacity for self-destruction. The work's enduring impact lies in its duality. It is at once a fantastical vision and a mirror held up to the darkest recesses of society. Goya's craft compels viewers to confront the malignancy of unchecked paranoia, challenging us to recognize and resist its pulse within our own communities. A legacy that remains as urgent and resonant now as when the painting first cast its unsettling glow.